All right, what's going on, everybody? This is your professor, Dr. Jason. Welcome to week 9. Yes, week number 9 of your 9443 class, the Academic Library for spring 2019. I'm gonna go ahead and get into some things here, man. We're just gonna have a little bit of a discussion about, a discussion about academic library topics. Let's do it that way. First, let me see. Probably got plenty of what we got here. So I missed somebody's question, it looks like. Questions and concerns. What do we have? Oh. Okay, well, that one's not really relevant anymore. Your let me come over here. Your take-home exam 2 paper was due yesterday. I am recording this on Monday, March the 18th, so it was due Sunday, March the 17th. If you have not completed that, you need to get in touch with me right away so that we can work something out. After a certain point, you will be awarded a 0 for that assignment if I do not hear from you beforehand. The white paper, thanks to Aaron, the white paper prompt has not been uploaded yet, and Aaron brought that to my attention, and I'm going to try to have that up by the end of the week, because you all do need it now. You can start on your information literacy assignment in the meantime, which is up, and these two assignments are they're very close together in due date. You have April 14th, you have April 14th and you have April 21st, so they're due back to back. It's going to be kind of stressful for you all those days, but go ahead and if you find yourself thinking, man, I don't have any work to do and all this time on my hands, go ahead and start on that information literacy assignment, and I'll get that white paper up in the meantime, okay? Now, y'all aren't going to like me this week because what I'm going to talk about this week is going to be pretty unorganized. Now, I apologize for that, but it is something that is pressing on me because for those of you who don't know, I teach for Mizzou in CISL in the library science program, but I am also a librarian at UMKC. I work as an academic librarian currently, and so one thing that we are doing, as you can see on your screen here, one thing that we're doing at UMKC is that we are having our students vote. Now, I can't vote, so I've got to because I'm not a student. So let me click X out of this, but I want you all to see what UMKC is doing, and then I'm going to compare that to what was done at some other institutions of mine, and we are going to lecture just a little bit about hours. Hopefully I will be done by the 20-minute mark, but whenever I say that, it never happens. Let's see what happens this time. So for those of you who don't know, UMKC is allowing students to vote on a library fee that will extend library hours. So first of all, let's look at what these current library hours are Monday through Thursday. Sorry about that. Okay, so yes, Mondays through Thursdays here at UMKC, we are open from 7:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. And we can also click hours here. I really recommend that you all, wherever you work, if you don't have the library hours posted on the website, please do that. I think every academic library needs to do that. So these are normal hours, Monday through Thursday, 7:30 to 11, Fridays, 7:30 to 6, Saturday 11 to 6, and Sunday 1 to 11. There are some exceptions, but those are our general hours here. Library fee voting guide. And so what if this initiative at UNCK is approved, then what would happen is the library would stay open longer and there would be 24/7 online chat service available. So there would be a fee tacked on to student fees, and in 2019, 2020, it would be $3 per credit hour, so it would be up to $36 because I think it ends at 12 credit hours. And that fee by 2025 will be $120 extra for the students per semester. And for that fee, the library would stay open later. I believe that the proposal is for the library to stay open from 7:30 to 2 a.m. Monday through Thursday, and then still have extended hours on Friday and Saturday as well. And then also the 24/7 chat so that students can get reference help and so forth at any time. Okay? Now, I was actually a little surprised. I haven't looked, and I apologize for this, but I have not looked for any studies of what is the dominant practice as far as operating hours for academic libraries these days. If one of you finds such a research study that is recent, maybe within the past 3 years, and email it to me or something, I will post it for the class. But I've not found that yet, so I can only draw on previous experience. But it was a little weird for me to come to UMKC after having worked at Coastal Carolina University, and Coastal Carolina and the University of South Carolina, where I was earning my PhD. Both of those schools are 24/7 libraries during the spring and fall semesters, non-holiday. And that access would be restricted at certain times a night to just students, faculty, and staff only. So yeah, at 2 and 3 a.m. in the morning, you wouldn't have non-students in the library at Coastal Carolina, but you would have students in there all times of day and all times of night. And I think that that is growing in popularity. I think UNC Greensboro, where I used to work, as well as UNC Wilmington, where I attended undergraduate school, I think both of them are on a 24/5 schedule, and then they reduce hours on the weekend. So, and then also I think that, I want to say that Ellis, let's look that up right now. Ellis, yes, Ellis is open 24 hours, and between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m., they probably are restricted to just students, and ID is required. Well, students and those affiliated with the university, and the ID is required to be in there. So, yeah, I was thinking that a school as big as UMKC would also be open a little later than it is, but it's not. But now that we're talking about this, we should talk about what are some of the pros and cons of keeping your library open 24 hours or keeping your library open late. And I think the pros can be pretty obvious. One of the pros is that your students do have a safe place to be at all times of the night, assuming that your library is safe. And again, that's why we restrict access to certain people at certain times of night. So I've never seen an academic library, I don't think, that was 24/7 to everyone. Community patrons are usually restricted at some point in the nighttime. So it's good for your students to have a good place to go, and hopefully your school your university has some form of, I would say, some form of security, whether it's police walkthroughs or whether it's hired security that's in there all the time, which is my preference. If you are going to some sort of late night model, I do think it's essential that you have good security personnel there. Chat is another thing that I don't want to overlook. Chat doesn't always have to be done through the host institution. So UMKC does have a chat service, but the chat does not have to be staffed by UMKC personnel necessarily. Sometimes you will have, like North Carolina had this back when I was in library school. I don't know if they still have it now. But North Carolina used to have a chat service run through NC Live. And that was sort of a consortium thing. And so you would have libraries that after hours, they would sign over their chat service to the NC Live service. And there would be some librarian somewhere, probably in Raleigh, or who was staffing the chat service. And they were monitoring chat for the different institutions, but they were not actually working for the specific institutions. They were working for a library consortium. Now, at Coastal Carolina, we did have library personnel local monitoring the chat 24/7. And people at Coastal, they used that chat around the clock. You had last minute undergraduates, you had grad students who were working adults with children and families, and they had to wait for their kids to go to sleep and other things before they could actually hop onto the chat service. And before they could hop onto the chat service and use it in order to get chat reference. So having chat 24/7, that definitely allows students of any lifestyle and background to have the ability to access reference services even after hours, which is all some may be able to use it for. Another positive, I would say, about staying open later is that the academic libraries that stay open later, that's part of me. So one of the other pros that I would say that you have to the libraries staying open later is that your students, in addition to having a safe place to study and to research and everything, I do think that this also affords students a bit of a backup plan. So let's say you do have students who are, their laptop just fizzles out in the middle of the night. And that happens. It does happen to students. A lot of times if a student tells you that, they're lying, but it does actually happen to students as well. So if you have a student whose laptop just gives out in the middle of the night, then 24/7 library gives them an opportunity. Head to the library, scan your card, 3 o'clock in the morning, come on in, finish your assignment, and be safe and sound. And that helps professors out too, because then they don't have to grant as many extensions. So that is a bonus. And then I also would argue that 24/7 academic libraries also create jobs. I really do feel that you support your community with those, because you need part-time workers who can do some late night work, early morning work in those situations. And so it is kind of a job creator, and I think that helps our economy. It gives people purpose in life. I know that probably sounds a little steep, but I do feel that people who, even if they're just waking up so that they can go to the library and sit at the circulation desk in the wee hours of the night, it still gives them something. It's better than being in the house hopeless with nothing. So I do think that for job creation purposes, it can also be a plus. Are there negatives to 24-hour libraries? Yes, first of all, as you can see here, costs, as we mentioned earlier. So that stuff ain't free. It's going to cost students in the year 2025 an extra $120 if they are full-time enrolled to have that library space open at UMKC if this initiative is approved. So that's one of the cons right there, is that there are costs. And the cost is not just for library personnel, it's for lights and infrastructure, it's for security. When the library is open 24/7, there are chances that security issues are going to arise. So hopefully your library isn't too dangerous. If you got your security on point, then you don't have too much to worry about, hopefully. But anything can happen anywhere. You can get robbed in freaking Bel Air, in freaking Malibu. So anything can happen at any time. So that's one con to the 24-hour library. And then there are two cons that are, if I had my camera on, I would put these in air quotes. Two cons. We have not done the research on these yet. And so whether they are legit cons or not is still up for debate and opinion. But hopefully someone will do the research one day, and maybe that someone will be you. If you hear a research idea, pounce on it. It can go a long way for you. The first of these cons that I would mention is that I've heard librarians pose that keeping the library open 24/7 does encourage procrastination. I'm not sure how much I really agree with that. Again, there would need to be some data collected, and I'm not even sure how you design. I hate to admit it, but even as a PhD, designing experiments for me, that was not the focus of my PhD program, and so it's something that I struggle with. But I don't know how you even design that study. That's something I would have to talk to my colleagues about, but I would love to know how to design that study and then just determine whether or not having a 24/7 library does really encourage procrastination with students. But there are a lot of librarians who do feel that because we are a security blanket, if we're staying open 24/7, that we are encouraging students to wait to the last minute. Let me know what you think. Also, the second con that I'm going to put in air quotes is that there are librarians who feel that the 24/7 library model, and especially going to 24/7 during exams, I've seen a lot of librarians, and I think they may have a legit point, but again, there needs to be some research done around this. But there are a lot of librarians who feel that we are training students to make sleep a less important thing if we are staying open 24/7. And especially during exam times, I know a lot of librarians who say, hey, we are helping these students we are helping them be insomniacs. We are helping them go without sleep. We are being enablers in that situation. And sleep really is very important to academic success. So these are academic librarians who are saying, oh, we are providing this space. We are encouraging them to not go to sleep by having this space open. And their grades may suffer for that because they end up writing papers or taking exams off of little sleep. And this can lead to hindered academic performance. Now, to what I'm going to say to that is most academic libraries are serving college students who are at least 18 years old. And so I say that it's an adult decision. Don't get me wrong, I'm 35. Even at 35, I make a lot of bad decisions. But 18-year-olds, yeah, they may be even more so prone to bad decisions. And so I think some of these librarians who are talking about we encourage students to go with less sleep if we open 24/7, I think some of those librarians may need to just accept that, hey, these are adults making adult decisions. If an adult decides that he or she can make it through with less sleep, and they want to spend more time studying, and then they'll just catch a nap after the exam, that may not be the best idea, but it's their decision to make. And I will say that, those cram sessions that I had back in college, they tended to work in my freshman and sophomore years. I will definitely say that. So I say let the students make the adult decisions that they need to make. A student can be up all night studying, or a student can be at the club, and sometimes these clubs stay open till 2 or later. So, whatever. So that's the way I would look at that. But again, there probably needs to be some actual research done around these two topics. I have not checked the literature to see if there already has been, but I don't think there's been research in either of those two areas as of yet. Now, again, I don't own ideas. So if you can design a research project to publish, and you can design it around library hours and how those affect students psychologically, how they affect student decision making, then I say it's a pretty good idea to go ahead and pursue it. So that's what I'm going to say there. Again, you can let me know how you think. I may make an optional discussion board area, or I may not. You do have two assignments coming up soon, so I don't know if I'll make the optional discussion board post or not, but still, you can just email me and tell me how you think about any particular issue. It's all good. So having said that, that is my little spiel on library hours. I do think that there are pros and cons to extending hours and making things 24/7. So just be mindful of those. And I do want to reiterate again the safety issue. This did not happen at an academic library, but at a public library that I was working at. Shortly after I stopped working there, there was a rape that occurred in that library. And that's something we never want to see. And, rape and sexual assault, those are issues on most college campuses, whether we want to admit it or not. And yeah, I'll be honest, I could see a sexual assault happening very easily in an academic library after hours. But a sexual assault can happen anywhere, and hopefully the library will at least have the cameras and surveillance to where if something like that were to happen, we'd be able to help. We'd be able to help the victim, we'd be able to arrest the perpetrator, and we would be able to take steps to try to prevent the same from happening again. So that's me. I didn't stay under 25 minutes. I didn't stay under 20 minutes, but I did stay under 25 minutes. Consider it a blessing, maybe. And again, you can speed up my lectures on YouTube. I showed you all how to do that the first class session. Thank you all. I also really enjoyed your participation with the Shannon Jones lecture. She did a really good job, and I think you all did a very great job of listening. So thank you so much for that. And with that said, I'm gonna put up the deuce. Y'all be easy.